What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Well, I'm back, okay? I told y'all I was gonna sleep on it. I was gonna talk to some people in it, and I was gonna let y'all know what I was gonna do about this whole chasing LA situation. But I'm here, okay? This is Chasing LA season 1, episode 3. So look, we're leaving the pole dancing situation, and King Payne is trying to talk to Alicia, and Alicia ain't hearing it. And King Payne trying to tell Alicia that, you know, I don't know where this whole queen thing came from, but Alicia was like, well, she ain't no queen to me, talking about Jayla. And King Payne was like, okay, well, are you gonna come and eat with us? And she was like, no. Like, I'll come and dance with y'all, have a good time, but I ain't sitting down and eat with y'all. So, okay, we're not doing that. Then they stand around in the parking lot and are talking about the whole situation again and talking about Alicia this and Alicia that. And then D. Hawkins is being a little disrespectful towards Alicia. And Jayla jumps in to defend Alicia. And you know what it reminded me of? My good girlfriend last week, Abby Reviews, when we were talking about the whole situation last week, she said, listen, Jayla and Alicia, that was family business. I'm out of it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. And I said, you know what? That proves to me that she was absolutely correct. Because, Jayla, you were just as rude and disrespectful to Alicia as D. Hawkins was. Matter of fact, I feel like you were probably more disrespectful than what D. Hawkins was saying. But you felt the need to defend Alicia in that moment. You're not going to misgender her. She is a woman. Because D. Hawkins started talking about, I mean, girl, if you a woman, I mean, you got on that bad wig and them big feet and da-da-da-da. Well, first of all, she can't help the size of her feet. Like, what does that have to do with her being a trans woman? And Jayla basically was like, listen, sexuality and identity are two different things. She could walk around here with no wig on, no breasts, no this, no that. But if she says she identifies as a woman, she identifies as a woman. And he sort of backed down a little bit because I guess he was like, oh, shit, you know. Okay, maybe I said too much. And so she sort of was backing down a little bit. But I just found that to be very interesting because I was like, but 15 minutes ago, you was doing the same thing. Anyway. So then we have Fran and Andre meeting up. They were meeting up at the showroom for one of Andre's people that a designer, Adolfo Sanchez, I believe. And I probably messed that person's whole name up. But he has some beautiful gowns and stuff in his showroom. And Fran is meeting with them. And come to find out, Fran and Jeremy have become kind of cool. And Fran is telling Jeremy about a situation with his boyfriend. He said him and his boyfriend have an open relationship, but he ain't mean open in his house. He said he came home and some dude was hiding in the closet and was condoms on the table. Listen. This is how I feel about it. If y'all have an open relationship, why are people hiding in the closet? Like, there should be rules involved. Like, if y'all are having an open relationship, there should be boundaries and rules. So, if one of the boundaries is that, okay, do your dirt, but don't do it in my house, then that's not about an open relationship. That's about he cheating. Because if the open relationship are within the boundaries of, you can meet somebody else, you can go out on, with somebody else, you can even sleep with somebody else, but what you can't do is do it in my home. So, if I come home and you got another man in my house, you have violated the agreement. And so, therefore, it's all bets are off. You cheating. Like, that's how I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping. Y'all tell me if I'm looking at it through the lens that's not appropriate. Y'all let me know. But that's what I'm thinking. So then, Andre, I like Andre. I think Andre's a little extra, but I kind of like Andre. I do. I kind of like Andre. So Andre has invited somebody that he found on Instagram as if they don't have enough dysfunction in this group that he felt the need to invite somebody else into the group. But he was like, this person, they on their grind, they a business owner, they doing big things. And I thought maybe, since I'm kind of not vibing with the people already in the group, it would be cool to bring, a whole nother person into the group. Now, this new person, he's calling himself the Fly King. And let me say this. I would say this about the Fly King that I appreciate, okay? I appreciate the fact that you came on this platform and you have a business and you got to grind. I can appreciate that, sir. I can also appreciate that in the very next scene, after we see you introduced, we got a work scene from you all the way down to the Atlanta. Okay, so you got on a plane and you flew to Atlanta to film a work scene. Listen, I'm here for all of that. The suit you had on in your entrance and in your confessional. Listen, that suit in his confessional. Okay, this lets you know I'm old. Only the old people gonna get this reference. Do y'all remember M2May, Don't Look Any Further? The video, Don't Look Any Further. If you don't, Google it. He looked like M2May in that video, in his confessional. With that gold lame suit on. The other thing, sir, you busted out in a freestyle, a rap, because you're a rapper and you're also a battle rapper. And I heard you take some shots at my girl. Now listen, let me say this. You took some shots at Lil Kendra. Now, I know right now, because I know Lil Kendra that heard it, and I know Lil Kendra is already in the studio. She probably already posted something on her Instagram. I'm going to check when I get off of here. You came for Lil Kendra. Talking about you not in the jailhouse like Lil Kendra. Something to that effect. Sir. Lil Kendra will eat you up and spit you out lyrically. If that freestyle rap that you gave us at the beginning of your intro is any indication of what you give him, it's going to be a bloodbath. Lil Kendra going to spit you. Listen. Lil Kendra might be a lot of things, but one thing Lil Kendra can do is rap. And she gonna spit you out. I'm gonna tell you now. Moving on. So in this scene, Andre sort of goes through the whole Rolodex of the who's the who in the group and who got on his nerves and who was doing too much and who was going too far. And it was actually an interesting breakdown. It actually was a pretty accurate breakdown. And Fly King did actually tell Andre, listen, I can understand why, King Payne kind of had a problem with you. You was calling him Missy Elliott, talking about he looked like he got on a trash bag. I mean, I think we all kind of understood that, okay? Fran was talking about the fact that Alicia sort of came hard, that, Fran, they, I think their pronoun is they, do not appreciate being misgendered. I don't know. Anyway, it was a cute scene though. It was a cute scene because I did like Andre. I liked Andre and Fran's dynamic in that scene. I think they did a good job in that scene. Yeah. Fly King, like I said, we got a work scene from him because he said he was going down to Atlanta because down in Atlanta, they act like the Rona ain't even happening. And he ain't never told a lie because y'all act like, listen, them people down in Atlanta act like Rona wasn't even happening. It wasn't going on. It won't. He ain't lying. He is not lying. But he did a photo shoot for his, he has a skincare cream line, beard oil for men and basically like a Bath and Body Works for men. Okay, it was cute. He said it's been like 2 years, so again, it's not no new thing that he just threw up for the purposes of filming. It's a real business that he got going on. I could appreciate it. Okay. Then we had probably the best conversation of the whole episode. We had Alicia talking to Hershey LaCour. Now listen, I can appreciate this whole conversation because it gave us what we hadn't had throughout this whole situation. Now, Alicia, I've been really trying to work with Alicia. I like Alicia because she's my DC homegirl, right? And I really didn't appreciate the fact that they was misgendering her. Even though she did have a little stank attitude, I was kind of trying to, excuse me, I was trying to kind of be there, right? But Alicia, she said that she felt like Jayla was giving her a hard time when they was doing they was doing another scene that we never saw nothing apart. They was at the beach and we never saw no parts of that scene. And she felt like that she was getting attitude from Jayla there. Then she said that they were at the little thing and they were playing the game. And Jayla, the question was, what was your first impression of everybody? And Jayla said, well, I think Alicia is pretty. And she was like, that's not an impression. But it's not a bad thing either. Maybe she don't have an impression yet. That actually is an impression. If my first impression of you is that you're pretty, that is actually an impression. It may not be the answer you want, but it's an answer. Then she gonna say, she reminds me of the princess from Coming to America. Hershey the quote was like, but she was pretty. She was pretty, but I mean, why would you say that I remind you of, she was barking like a dog. But when it was your turn, you said that Jayla looked like a stripper. And she gonna say, well, that's not a bad thing.
I never took a straight path nowhere. Life's full of
Ma'am. Jayla said you look like a princess. You told Jayla she looks like a stripper. Now, let's be clear. Ain't nothing wrong with being a stripper. Strippers got some bad bodies and they're beautiful. But honestly, if you were offended by being called a princess, she could have gotten just as easily offended by being called a stripper. Then you're going to look at the end of the table and you're going to call, I forgot who it was now. I think it might have been D. Hawkins. You're going to say he looked like a drug dealer. Talking about, well, I mean, that's a compliment. I mean, I'm from D.C. I mean, he just looked like a drug dealer. I mean, that's how the drug dealers roll in D.C. There is no scenario that exists where calling somebody a drug dealer is a compliment. Nope. No. There is no scenario, Alicia, that exists with calling somebody that you just met, oh, you look like a drug dealer. And you couldn't understand why people had an attitude with you, but you sitting on the end of that table being stank because the woman said you look like a princess. Huh. Hershey, listen, shouts out to you. You my VIP of the week because, baby, you was trying your best to get her, because I know what you wanted to say was, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. But you was so diplomatic in that moment, and you was really trying to get her to understand that what she said was offensive, and she ain't had no reason to sit over there with no stank attitude, and let's just all move forward. Like, you was doing your best to be like, can we all just move forward? And then we find out that Alicia is actually a drag queen, which I've actually been following her on Instagram. She's in Vegas right now, girl. You better do your thing. And they talked about maybe putting together a drag show and doing some stuff together. I'm not going to, like, some other, listen, if from where I'm standing, like I said, we got a little bit more clarity with the situation, but ultimately, Alicia, girl, you was doing too much. And then she said it doesn't really bother her to be misgendered because that's what she expects. So again, it's not so much that it doesn't bother you, it's that that's what you expect, because that's probably what's always happened to you. Is that the minute somebody get mad, the first thing they want to do is misgender you. So then we have a scene with D. Hawkins and Quan. Quan has started a clothing line. We talk about his drug addiction. He said he was a functioning cocaine user. He said it was the death of his younger brother that made him come out of it, and that for the last couple of years he's really been struggling. You know, not struggling, but he's been working on his sobriety, and that's where part of the clothing line came out, because there are affirmations that he would say to himself every day. D. Hawkins talked about he has a new single coming out, a letter to his dad. He talked about he went through he was abused by a lot of people in his life, both men and women. And he said that, you know, he felt like maybe if my dad was there, maybe things would have been different. Maybe, you know, I would not have been violated the way I was violated. But then, you know, Quan was like, but you know what? Maybe that's part of your testimony. Maybe you were supposed to have those experiences as part of your testimony. And he said, you know, maybe that's true. Maybe, you know. Then once again, D. Hawkins is over there saying some borderline insensitive stuff about Alicia. I felt like it was borderline insensitive. Now, D. Hawkins, you ain't come right out and misgender her, but once again, you went to her looks and you went to talking about some, well, I mean, you want us to respect you as a woman, but you don't even look like sir, I don't give a damn what she look like. If it says I'm a woman and that is what I identify as, that is what you should respect. Somebody said, well, I mean, if you're not respecting me, I can't respect you. Again, I don't see it being equivalent, but okay. Then he said he wants everybody to go to some steps in Los Angeles where they hike up the steps, and he said, and what the idea he had was actually a pretty decent idea. He said he wants people to write down something that they're struggling with on a piece of paper, put it in their pocket or in their sock or whatever, and carry it to the top of the mountain, and then it'll be, you know, like a weight on them, and then when they get to the top, they'll release it, and it's like they're releasing that weight and to prove that they can do it. Quan talking about, so come on, life coach. I said, yeah, because that was actually pretty good. I thought that was actually a pretty good idea. So we see everybody showed up to go up to this mountain. Alicia and Jayla have a conversation, and ultimately I feel like they come to some sort of meeting of the minds. Jayla was like, listen, you are my trans sister. It really bothers me when I hear them talking crazy about you. And once again, in the back of my mind, I'm like, but you was talking crazy about her too, but okay. And they sort of come to some sort of meeting of the mind, of agreement. Like I said, they talked about what happened. You know, Alicia said her piece. Jayla said her piece. Then we had Hershey LaCour talking to, was it Andre or D. Hawkins? One of them. And they was talking about the fact that Alicia said she performs at the club that they were at. And Hershey LaCour was like, but she don't, because I work there and I don't know her. I don't know her. We had a really, really great working scene from Jeremy. Now, I remember all of this, but of course I didn't know who Jeremy was in the moment. So, Kayla Allen, who I follow on Instagram and follow his YouTube page, he actually released a Christmas project. And he talked about Jeremy in the behind-the-scenes footage. And I actually saw some of Jeremy in the behind-the-scenes footage. He put together, and it was a really great product. Like, you can still go to his page and find it. And he actually released the EP to go along with the, like, it's like a digital video to go along with the EP. It was really, really great. And we see Kayla Allen talking about it. He also this was happening simultaneously in New York because MJ Rodriguez from Pose was actually on his EP and was on the single from one of the songs from the album. And so you guys, please go check it out. It is really, really great. It's a really great project. But it was great to see Jeremy working with Kaylin in that moment. And again, you really get a chance to see that Jeremy really is that dude. You know what I'm saying? Jeremy really is that dude. So it was a moment. I was here for it. And I was definitely happy to see Kayla Allen because I absolutely love him. I adore him. I think he is absolutely fabulous. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Drop it in the comments. Peace.